How's it going, everyone? Dax here, and today we're going to be checking out another kurzgesagt video. This is an older one. We haven't really heard of this one. It came out in 2015. That's probably why we haven't watched it yet, but it was in suggestions, so let's give it a try. It's called What is Something? A very ominous question, and I really want to know. Let's get straight into it. What is something? So let's get straight into it. And away we go.
The simple questions are the hardest ones to answer. What is
true,
a thing? Why do
life?
things happen?
True.
And why do they happen the way they do?
True.
Let's try to approach this step by step.
Okay.
What are you made of? You are
Atoms?
matter, which is made
matter,
of molecules, which are made of atoms, and those are made of elementary
the
particles.
third step. I just skipped a
But
few.
if elementary particles are the smallest things that exist,
Yeah.
what are they made of?
Oh god, I'm gonna have an existential crisis. It's one of those ones. Oh, this is a long intro. Oh.
To answer a simple question,
I think I like that
let's
than
start simply.
the new one.
Let's wipe the universe clean. Away
Oh,
with
great.
matter, antimatter, radiation, particles,
Jesus.
anything. Now
Full
let's
on
take
wipe.
a closer look at absolutely nothing.
Okay.
What is empty space? Is it what we call a vacuum? There are no atoms, no matter, nothing. Is it
Okay.
really all that empty? Nothing gives us the building blocks for everything. In a sense,
Oh my God, what?
empty space is a lot like a vast, calm ocean. While the water is very still when nothing is happening, a stiff breeze can create some serious waves. Our universe works a lot like this. There are these oceans everywhere. Physicists call them fields. This might be strange and new, but think about radiation, for example.
Oh,
By
electromagnetic.
exciting what's known as the electromagnetic field, a little kink is created, which is the particle we call the photon, the particle that carries radiation. We perceive it as light. This isn't unique to light. Every particle in the universe is made this way. There are fields for every particle of matter, all with their own rules. For example, along with the electromagnetic field, there is an electron field everywhere in the universe, and little kinks in that field are electrons. Altogether, the fields of our universe can produce 17 particles, which can be divided into 3 categories: the leptons and the quarks.
Okay, kurzgesagt was a lot harder back in the day. I just gotta say, this is crazy to keep up with. I know it's basic science, but my brain's fried already. I may need a Red Bull or something. But this is nuts. Do you know what's crazy? As these things, these quarks, leptons, all this stuff didn't just have to be discovered, they had to be named. It's crazy, bro. The process it must have took, the amount of people it must have taken to come up with all these individual things for nowadays scientists to all put them together. Oh my god, so pretty much what I was trying to say is, before my mind got blown, the scientists that discovered all of this stuff walked so that the scientists of today can run and do the rest of the work that they started to do, which is kind of crazy. And I'm guessing that's what just science is. You just take on what someone else has already done and then progress it even further, which is just, it's actually crazy thinking about. Let's just continue the video so I can get confused even more.
And the bosons. Leptons consist of the electron as well as its cousins muon and tau particles.
You've
Each
lost me.
has an
This is
associated
crazy.
neutrino. Then there are quarks. The
Oh, no
quarks
quarks.
are the nuclear family of particles. They're always found bound together in groups and pairs and make up protons and neutrons, which make up the nuclei of atoms. Together, the leptons and quarks are the matter particles. They make up all the things you see. The air you breathe, the sun that warms you, the computer you're using right now to distract yourself from the stuff you should be doing. But things don't just exist, they also do stuff. In some philosophical sense, the properties of a thing are just as much a part of it as existence itself. This is where the bosons and the fields that make them come into play. While the quarks and leptons are made by matter fields, the bosons are made by force fields. We call a rule of the universe a force, and so far, 4 fundamental forces have been discovered: electromagnetism, gravity, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. These forces are the rulebook of a game where the pieces are particles and the game is the universe. They tell particles what they can do and how they can do it. Bishops move diagonally, massless particles move at the speed of light, knights can jump, gravity attracts. The forces are the rules for how particles interact, which ultimately make them the rules for how particles assemble into all the big things we see in the universe. gravity isn't just the rule for orbits around the sun or apples falling from trees. As a rule, it says matter attracts, which builds planets and stars. Electromagnetism isn't just a rule for magnets attracting or repelling, or electric currents in light bulbs. It governs all atomic bonds, building every molecule. Together, forces and particles are sort of like the tinker toys of existence. The bosons are like messengers, passed between, you could say, connecting the matter particles, which they use to tell each other how to move. Each particle uses a certain set of the forces to interact with other particles. Quarks, for example, can interact with each other. The forces to...
I love they've done this because I understand this more than what they're saying. I love how they put it into a game of what items you should be wearing and stuff, and it goes into a certain slot into your thingy that other things can't. So
interact with other particles.
Yeah.
Quarks, for example, can interact with each other with electromagnetism and the strong nuclear force, but electrons don't use the strong force, just electromagnetism. The quarks exchange strong force bosons, communicating the strong nuclear attraction to each other, while the protons they build exchange particles of electromagnetism,
so
photons,
five-head, I
with
can't
the
keep up.
electrons. Thus, the quarks end up locked up in nuclei, while the electrons remain attached by their electric attraction, building atoms. Even though the universe has lots of big messy phenomena like life, supernova and computers that seem complex on the surface, if you zoom in far enough on anything, you just get 17 particles emerging from underlying fields playing a game with 4 rules. To summarize, in the most basic form we know right now, this is what things are. This theory is what physicists call the standard model of particle physics. You are basically nothing more than disturbances on an ocean that's excited by energy and guided by forces that make up the rules of the universe.
Okay, I understood.
But why?
Summarize.
And what is a force?
Better.
We'll have to explore a few more simple questions to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
We made some wallpapers from some of the graphics in this video. You can get them on Patreon.com.
Okay, that was bloody nuts.
If you want to help us
I'm
make
not
more
gonna
videos,
lie.
you can do so.
I struggled to follow it all the way until the end. Like, I didn't get it until the end. Like, the explaining of the individual things was just absolutely nuts. But to summarize it, everything is made up of this stuff plus force. All the 4 different forces. It is pretty much what he said. Summarized and simplified, that is what he said. I am now a genius. I didn't understand a bloody word he said, but it was a good video. I enjoyed it. Okay, everyone, that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you check out the original, because I'm not being funny. We might have to look at the comments to figure out what just happened the past 5 minutes. I will see you in the next video. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.